Hi, Dustin.
Mr. Stevens, how you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I am excellent. It's an honor to be speaking with you.
Well, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
And I know you have been a busy guy here. And first of all, let's talk about your new book, Ray Stevens' Nashville. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, yeah, I've been here since '62, and I moved up to Nashville from Atlanta to become a session musician. And I played on a lot of sessions and met a lot of entertainers, a lot of singers, famous people, and other great musicians and here in Nashville. And at my age, I thought, well, I'll write a book about all those experiences in the studio, as well as some events that led up to it. And it's not an autobiography per se, but it's more what you might call a memoir. And it tells a lot about what went on behind the scenes in the Nashville music business. Back before Nashville became Music City, USA, I was in on the formation of Nashville, Tennessee becoming Music City, USA, and I think it's kind of an interesting read. A lot of people might get a lot out of it.
Yeah, for sure. And I know that you were involved with some pretty heavy hitters back then. I know you played with Elvis Presley and did some work with Dolly Parton. So, I mean, yeah, it should be an awesome book for sure.
Yeah, well, I've had a lot of fun in my career, and I'm still enjoying what I do, and I'm still pretty active.
Yeah, and speaking of Elvis Presley, I read that you actually played trumpet on one of his albums. Is that kind of a primary instrument of yours, or how did that come about?
No, I'm not a great trumpet player. I know just enough to hold it right, and I can make noises come out. But Elvis's producer was my brother-in-law, and he booked me on a session to play whatever was needed. And Charlie McCoy is another session musician here in Nashville who can play just about anything. And we needed twin trumpets on one of the songs that Elvis was cutting on that session. And so Charlie and I went out to our cars. We kept a plethora of instruments in the trunks of our cars and brought in our trumpets and dusted them off and played on this thing. And it turned out good. It was quite an experience.
Yeah, and I know you actually started your own recording career releasing stuff back when you were still in high school. Is that right?
Yeah, I had a little band all through high school, and when I was 17, I got a recording contract through a publisher in Atlanta where I lived, who knew the people to know in the music business, in the record business, and I had my first record out on Capitol Records when I was still in high school. I was 17, so that was a lot of fun.
And I know besides the book, you also have another album coming out, Ray Stevens' Gospel Collection. Is that something that's been in the works for a while, or what can we expect from that?
Well, it's back in the mid-'70s, I had a gospel album, and one of the songs was a hit. It became a pop hit. It's called Turn Your Radio On. And ever since that time, I've wanted to do another gospel album, and I'm finally getting around to it. And this collection is old standard gospel songs, the ones everybody knows and remembers. And I had a lot of fun putting the album together. We used everything we could conceive of as far as instrumentation, strings, horns, voices, and it turned out well. I think people will enjoy it.
Yeah, looking forward to that for sure. And I think that's a credit to you. A lot of people might know you for your comedy records, but obviously you have the gospel album coming out and, won Grammys for more straightforward recordings. So would you say, is there one that you prefer over the other, or is it just kind of a little of everything?
I just love music. I'm a musician first and foremost, and a wordsmith. I love lyrics, and over the years, I've tried to hone my craft, so to speak, improve my songs, and I can't pick a favorite. I just like everything for what it is.
Sure. And I have to ask you, when I was a kid, I listened to The Streak, probably on repeat all day long, every day. Just kind of wondering your thoughts on that song, how it came about, and are you kind of surprised that people are still asking you about it?
Well, it was a huge hit, that's for sure. I was surprised when it became as big as it did, but I'm very gratified that people still remember it. It's a song that I wrote back before the streaking really hit. I read an article in a magazine about a college student in California who took off his clothes and ran through a crowd, and they called it streaking. And I said, there's an idea for a song. So I wrote the song, and got in the studio, by the time we could get our record out, there were already a dozen or so other streaking records on the market. But for some reason, mine was the one that made it. So I'm very gratified for that. And like I say, that people still remember it, that's wonderful.
Yeah, it was definitely a different time back then. It seems like if anybody had enough money, they could just release, a 45 and put it out there into the market. It's kind of come full circle almost in a way nowadays with the internet.
Well, yeah, the internet's changed everything, and it's you have to really put on your thinking cap to deal with the internet. It's a strange animal, but I tell you, Taylor Swift's got it figured out. She's done well with the internet, and I'm an old guy though. I don't understand it quite all that well, but I'm hiring people that do. So there you go.
Well, I got to say, as far as having a grasp on things, you are really a guy who kind of embraced the art of the music video. Can you tell us a bit about that? Did you kind of just fall into making the videos, or was that something you were always interested in?
Well, in a way, I just fell into it. I was of the opinion that people would love to see the comedy songs on video. And I approached the record company with the idea for them to sponsor, finance the making of a long form video, and they didn't want to do that. They thought that videos were just a way to promote audio. In other words, you used a video to promote your record, and so I mustered up my own money back at that time. I didn't have a whole heck of a lot of it, but I financed the production of the videos and put them out on cable TV, the 1-800 number you call, and sure enough, man, it rang a bell with the public, and I think one of the reasons is VHS machines had just come into their own, and people were, getting them in their homes on a regular basis. I mean, it was the new thing to give for Christmas, and the new thing to have, and they wanted something to play on that thing. So my video coming on the market just at the right time was, like I say, very timely.
Yeah, for sure. Almost in a way, it was kind of a resurgence for you as far as, people being exposed to some of the songs that they might have missed or maybe have been too young to catch the first time around. Yeah,
well, maybe so. I know I had a theater at that time in Branson, and I was doing 2 shows a day, 6 days a week. And after that video came out, with all the time that was it was shown on television, we sold out every show. I mean, it was just unbelievable promotion for personal appearances, you might say.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously, that work ethic that you have is still going on. As I mentioned, you have the book coming out and the new gospel collection. And you've basically been going nonstop since the late 50s, I guess it would be. I mean, are there signs of slowing down, or are you still going to be working here till who knows when?
I'll probably work till I keel over. The deal is I've always loved what I do, and it's a lot of fun, so I'm not going to stop doing it. It's like scratching an itch. You keep scratching till the itch is no longer there.
Sure. And with that being said, you've obviously seen, everybody come and go throughout the country music scene. What are your thoughts on the scene today and kind of how that's evolved over the years?
Well, it certainly has evolved, and it's changed, too. I'm going to tell you that. It's a strange thing these days, but I still love it. And there's still some great folks out there making music, and I guess the way you market the music is the main thing that has changed. And you said it a while ago, the Internet has played such a role in that, and it's in a constant state of flux. I'm trying to keep up because the basic thing is, to me, the music, and I still want to do that. So I'll try to figure a way to market it, Internet or no, as long as I can.
Excellent. Well, again, Ray, it's been an honor having you on today. And I know you have the book and the album coming out, so you probably aren't, in a big hurry to get some new stuff out here. But are there any other upcoming projects maybe or anything else you're working on in the future?
Yes, Dustin. I'm glad you brought that up because I have a new gospel album that I just finished. And you can find out more about anything you want to know about Ray Stevens at my website, which is raystevens.com.
Excellent. Again, Ray, it's been an honor having you on. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Dustin.
All right, have a good one.
Bye-bye.